Greetings, greetings. Hello, everyone. This is
Hey,
Beatrix here. I'm here with Ryan today.
how's it going?
Good, wonderful. How are you all? Today, with Ryan, we're talking about the holiday feast
Yeah,
and
right. A
how
lot
to
of
be.
food.
Yes, there's a lot of food, right? And how to be more disciplined.
Yes, because it's very easy to veer off track from our goals around the holidays. So Beatrix and I are going to talk all about that and tell you how you can kind of stay on track and not, kamikaze your whole routine that you have going on.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Yes, that's that. Thanks, Ryan. I think that we really, really need that.
Yeah,
Um, Sometimes I find we use December or the holiday season as a permission slip to kamikaze all over,
yeah,
or to eat or drink away unaddressed emotions that we suppress throughout the year.
yeah.
And now it's time to eat or drink them away. Then we
Yes.
feel guilty, we feel regret, we feel ashamed, and we start the new year with those feelings.
Feelings, yeah, yeah. I
No
agree.
wonder why sometimes January is the most depressive month, and no wonder why we are not energized. No wonder why
Right.
those goals we set for ourselves for the next year tend to stay at the back burner.
Right. And I feel that
What do you
like
think?
everybody's so motivated going into the new year and they all go to the gym and they have all these grand ideas and goals for themselves. But the one thing they don't account for is like their physical health and their mindset. So it's like if they pig out in December and just like overindulge around the holidays, of course they're going to be feeling lethargic, they're going to be feeling off, they're going to be feeling sickly, and then combine that with motivation, it doesn't work. That's why so many people fail by February. It's like
Yes, exactly. Well said. Well said. Yes, 100%. We feel heavy. We feel lack of energy. That let's be fair. During the holiday season, we don't eat salads,
no.
right?
No.
Right. So all the stuff we put in our body brings our mood down, our energy down. We feel heavy. We feel, more dreaded, and that's not a great way to start the motivation. So today, that's what we're here for, right?
Exactly, yeah.
To give different perception to this and help people how they can not start the new year this way and
Right,
feel more at ease and lighter
right.
during the holiday season. What are your experiences? What How did you grow up, or what's your so you are in the US in Boston.
Yes.
I'm based in UK London, and I'm actually originally not from here. So what are your holiday habits, customs? What did you learn?
So typically there's a lot of like family parties and stuff like that. Seeing people that I don't normally see. And obviously there's a lot of food, a lot of sugary foods. And I think this is where a lot of people falter because like being around like people you don't really know that well, like distant family, it's like, yeah, there's a sense of awkwardness. So it's like we tend to eat in order to feel better. And I know personally that's what I used to do. I used to, eat and eat. I used to go all out at these parties, and plus I would drink and, make all sorts of bad choices. And then afterwards I would just feel awful about myself, frankly. So I definitely get it. I definitely get like the appeal to overeating, but I also understand how bad it makes you feel. So you got to kind of, find a balance and maybe have to deal with that awkwardness a little bit.
That's right, that's right. And you've just highlighted that we actually eat off those emotions, that feeling, that awkwardness.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want to be with them. Let me go eat something.
Yeah, right, right. Right, exactly.
Or I don't want to join that conversation.
Exactly.
Rather not that I don't want to be with them. And let me just eat something. Wow, this is really fascinating.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
interesting.
another thing about like hanging out around the food table is like it's a great way to like converse with people you don't really know because it's kind of like that small talk, like, oh hey, how's the weather? Except it's like, oh hey, how's that like sweet treat? How are these cookies? How are these brownies? How's this like baked ziti? And it's like you're just over there eating so you can have something to talk about with these random people. So I get it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, it's quite normal for everyone,
Yeah,
but I think there is power and freedom at the same time, not
right, right,
following
right.
maybe what we used to always follow. So maybe it's time that we turn this around. Yeah.
Right,
Oh wow,
exactly.
I love that. Yeah, that's true. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yes. And what do you think we can do? What's the first thing that you would advise someone
To
who
not
wants? Yeah, go on.
to
Sorry.
not like overindulge.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you mean?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So first off, and tell me your opinions on this too. But I'm sure we're going to be on the same page. But first off, you got to keep in mind that you started for a reason. You're doing this for a reason. You have goals for a reason. You have discipline for a reason. So therefore, you need to go into these parties. You go into the holiday season with your vision, with your goal in your mind. That's key. So it's like so often I think we use the holidays as an excuse to like forget our goals temporarily. And it's like, oh, everybody's eating, everybody's drinking, everybody's having fun. I don't need to focus on, my goals now. I don't have to be disciplined. And then it's like you said, it's like by January we feel like crap because we made a series of bad choices. So it's like, that's first and foremost, I think absolutely the first thing we need to do is just remember why we're doing this to begin with.
Right. That's
What
so
do you think?
powerful. Yes. Yes. I love it. Absolutely. Because it's like, oh, okay. It's Christmas. Let's just get loose.
Right, right, exactly.
Yes, yes, let's do that. Let's celebrate whatever you do during the holiday season, whatever
Right,
it means. But
right.
that does not mean that we should go so far that actually we are creating counterproductive behaviors
Yeah,
and make ourselves feel bad. So I think finding the balance is really, really good.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
Um, First of all, I think it would be something from my side. How I think about it is being aware of the emotions. So, what am I eating and drinking away right now, and how can I feel better so I don't need to eat that extra piece of cookie, or I don't need to have that extra glass of wine, which turns into five or six.
Right, right. Yeah,
Um, so, going into the celebration with balanced emotions
yeah,
or navigating through them,
yeah,
uh, uh, finding the emotional balance. Mm, Sometimes I think it's also about relationship with food. Am
yes.
I giving myself the permission now that, oh, the food is really, really making me feel good,
Right,
and
right.
I don't too much like these people around me, but now there's just this food and it's
Yeah,
really good, and I'm just at the table all night long.
right, right.
Um, and just really be mindful. So
Right,
when you feel full, then don't eat more.
right.
When also another thing could be, I think, mindful eating, which means to me is savor the taste, properly chew, calmly chew, so that actually you properly digest the food
Yeah,
and you need less food to feel full.
yeah, right, right.
And when you do that, instead of maybe stuffing, or like being in a rush, or just eating all the time, here and this and
Yeah,
bit,
yeah,
this bit, I pass by here, and just stuffing yourself, but
yeah,
more savor it, chew it properly, so you don't need as much food as 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 when you eat very quickly, for example.
Yeah, that's a good idea actually. So like, like I think we both agree that it's pretty hard not to have anything kind of like sugary over the holidays. I mean, since there's so much there. So I think it's almost inevitable to have a little bit, and we shouldn't restrict ourselves, right? Because that's what not what discipline is. Discipline is about finding the balance, like you said. Like we need to find the balance. So in, instead of piling like 10 brownies in our mouths, though, because that is possible. I've done it. I've seen people do it. That's possible. But if we just pick one up and chew it, small bites, slowly, we'll get the taste, we'll get that sugar, and then we won't feel compelled to continue eating. But like junk food. Tell me if this is your experience as well. But from my experience with junk food like that, the faster you eat it, or the quicker you eat it, the more mindlessly you eat it, the more your body wants it because there's something about the sugar in it that causes us to crave more. Think about too when you eat like chips or something. The powder on chips has a very addictive quality to it that like the more you eat, the more you want. So it's like it's the same thing with holiday treats. It's like, the more you eat, the more you will want. And I can tell you, the more you will regret eating it the day after. So you got to keep that in mind too.
Yes, exactly. 100%. Yes, yeah, the sugar is very addictive. Yes, that's so true. That's so true. And then I like that you bring the factual stuff, and my approach is always a little bit like holistic or mind and emotions.
Yeah.
But then the next day you feel regret. The next day you feel better about yourself, and you're like, what is gonna make me feel better? Another brownie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we keep ourselves in the loop. So
Right.
it's really about keeping the balance. I totally agree with that. So it's not about restricting because that's another way of making ourselves feel bad, but it's
Right.
really finding the balance.
Right. And
How
and
to,
so
yeah.
yeah, so many people I feel like, when they start, I don't like the word dieting because I think that's very restrictive, but when they start trying to make healthier choices with their eating habits, they feel they need to completely cut off like sugary stuff and things they love. And this actually sets them up for failure because they just can't go very long without it. They're like just thinking about it, like, oh man, I really want this brownie, I really want this brownie, I really want this brownie, or donut, or whatever it is. And it's like my mentality is, well, if you want it, eat it, but eat one. And if you eat more than that, prepare to suffer for it, right? Like, and then you learn from it. Like, that's what balance is. It's not like restricting yourself. Like, if you go, or when you go to a holiday party and you're around all this stuff, don't look at the pile of cookies and be like, oh, I can't have that. I can't have that. Because then you're going to end up eating the entire thing. Don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Yeah. That's true. Exactly. Exactly. And you know what? There's so much power in allowing yourself to have it.
Yeah.
One piece, just properly like savor it, enjoy it,
Right.
and saying no to the next one, or
Right.
just like, okay, this is enough. I
Right.
am in charge. I've had the joy, but at the same time I am in charge. To me
Exactly.
that's how we are, that's how we can create the balance.
Exactly.
um
Exactly.
yes, like I remember like last year, at this corporate event, and this was so much food. And before that, years before that, I used to eat, just keep going back, just keep going back, one more.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
just a little piece, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't
Right. Right.
matter. But that year, when I said, no, I'm choosing myself, I'm choosing my health, I can have one. The, it's so empowering. Feeling this empowerment throughout the holiday season is really, really great because you keep yourself energized mentally and physically as well.
Right.
So that I think that helps to keep up with our exercise as well. What do you think? Because that's another thing. Sometimes we tend to sleep. What are your thoughts on this? Um,
About kind of overeating, about allowing
keeping
yourself to eat
the
more.
keeping the exercise schedule, or what about the
Oh, oh,
exercise?
oh, the exercise component. Yes,
Uh-huh.
because obviously, like what we choose to eat is very important, but we need to be burning off calories. We need to be exercising to a degree every single day. I mean, certain days are going to be more light exercise, but we need to be active. Like if we're trying to live an active lifestyle or be healthy, that's what we need to do. So I think around the holidays, especially, it's very easy to get lazy. Kind of like we said, it's very easy just to overeat and just think, oh, I'm going to put off my goals right now. It doesn't matter. But yes, it does matter. And you might not realize it now, but you in 10 days, in 14 days, in a month, that's when you'll realize it matters. And if you stop exercising, if you stop burning calories, in addition to overeating this crap, which frankly, I mean, obviously I eat it too, but I mean, that's basically what it is, crap, right? For our bodies. But if you do that, that's a double negative, and that is going to really, really set you back. So I suppose, and let me know what you think, because this thought just popped in my head, so I haven't really thought about it much. But if we are going to overeat on the holidays, we at least need to keep up our fitness regimen. Or if we're going to get a little lazy around the holidays, we at least have to be or make the healthy choices with eating. So if really it comes down to it, pick one or the other. I would recommend stay on track, completely stay on track. But if you really feel like you need to only pick one or the other, like you're going to overeat sweets or you're going to get lazy, just do that one. Do not do both, because if you do both, you're screwing yourself.
Yes, totally. I like the idea. Yes, that's
Yeah.
good. I like the idea. Yes, yes, 100%. Um, hmm. It, do you know what I was thinking while you were saying this, and also when we were going back to the cookies and constantly eating the sugar? I was
Right.
thinking about the repetition and consistency. So what we're doing to ourselves and to the mind is we keep repeating over a few days, because I think we can even start already like mid-December through
Yeah.
whole December. We just say, oh, it's Christmas, have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every single time we do that, we keep repeating that action to the mind. We
Right.
keep repeating feeding the body with sugar or
Right.
the crab food. What does that mean? You know, we learn by repetition.
Right.
So by the end of December, you very much get used to that. So in January, it will be difficult to turn the page or
Right.
to get to the other side. The same with exercise. You leave the exercise, you repeat being lazy, whatever that means. I still think a little bit of walk is important
Right.
every
Right.
single day. What are you feeding to your body? You are repeating the laziness, right? So your
Right.
body will get used to it by the end of December. Again, it will be difficult to get back to your schedule.
Exactly. Exactly. And I actually find that the longer we take a break from our
Yes.
routine, the harder it actually is to start it back up. So I'll give you an example that's kind of, it's not directly
Yes.
connected, but I take cold showers every day.
Mm-hmm.
And last week, though, I kind of had a sore throat a little bit. So I didn't want to, like, go from hot water to cold water and mess with my body temperature or anything. So for a couple of days, I decided not to take a cold shower to help with my throat. So on the third day, my throat was feeling fine. And I was like, I was in the shower and I was like, do I really want to go cold? Do I want to take a cold shower? I just went 2 days without it. It's not going to kill me. Do I need to do it? And I could have easily skipped it again, right? That's the thing, because the longer we don't do something, the easier it is for us just to keep on making up excuses and justifying not doing it. But in my case, on that third day, I decided to do it. I was like, no, I'm getting back into it. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But that takes willpower. That takes discipline. And absolutely over the holiday season, to help you stay on track, it does take willpower. It does take discipline. So don't forget that.
Yes, that's a great example. Yes, 100%. Yes, that's exactly what I meant by the repetition, because you get used to it, right?
Yeah.
And that's why the longer you take the break, the harder it will be to get back on track.
Exactly.
So I think to make it easier for us, I don't know if to make it easier for us, I think the balance would be the best thing to do, not to choose either or, but to be balanced with the choices, have whatever the food, be mindful with eating, but keep up with the exercise.
Yes.
As well, because just for the sake of long-term thinking.
Right.
If that makes sense. So January is not like a horrible month, but we can easily get back to everything.
I think that's the challenge a lot of us have, is that we don't think long term. We only think in the moment. So it's like in the moment right here, we have the blinders on, and it's like there's a pile of cookies, there's brownies, there's all sorts of fatty, sugary foods, and we just see that, and we're like, oh man, I really want to dive into this. And then maybe we can justify it by saying, I've been really good the past couple of months. I don't eat any of this stuff on a regular basis. Let me go all out. But what we're not thinking about is how we're going to feel in January, how we're going to feel at the end of the month. And I mean, that it's so crucial that we do, because if we only live in the moment, we're setting ourselves up to fail again and again and again and again. And we probably won't even realize we're doing it. That's the unfortunate part.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I totally agree with you. We don't tend to think long term. That's very much human nature. And it's very interesting you said, we just think about the present moment.
Yeah.
How about we use the present moment to make better choices? Do you know what I mean? So when you're in the present moment, you're more aware and conscious about your choices. You can use that present moment and calmness and consciousness to savor the food. So less food will be needed kind of for your body to feel full. So either you choose the present moment just to mindlessly go on autopilot, or actually take a step back and make a different choice.
Right, and I think that detachment is actually the most difficult part for a lot of us, because think about it, like parties and even eating to an extent, it's a very social experience. It's a very, like, we see other people picking out, and we're like, you know what, he's doing it, I'm going to do it. Or they're doing it, I'm going to do it. It takes real strength to detach yourself, step back, and be like, you know what, these people are all overeating. Let them have fun with their indigestion and heartburn and all this stuff and feeling bad about themselves. I'm not going to do that. That takes discipline. That takes strength, but that's what we must do.
I love that you've mentioned that. Yes, definitely. There is also like courage, and a lot of strength for sure, because sometimes also what we have is that emotional belonging. I don't want to be different, or I want to belong to this group. They are doing it, so let me have that extra glass, let me have that extra food.
Right.
They can do it, I could do it, and then I feel more I feel more that I belong to this group.
Right.
But yeah, is that really so?
I mean, I'm not sure if that's everybody, but I do have a theory that, like, probably like 90% of people drink alcohol not because they like the alcohol, but because everybody else does it and they just want to fit in. So it is possible that people overeat because they want to fit in, not necessarily because they want to overeat. And I think there are people who use food as a crutch, and that's another
Mm,
topic. That's problematic too. But
mm,
that's not
mm-hmm,
exactly the same thing. But I think there are a vast majority of people that choose food or choose alcohol simply to fit in. Kind of like I was saying at the beginning of this video about how like being around the food table kind of relieves some of that social awkwardness at
mm-hmm,
family
mm-hmm,
parties.
mm-hmm,
So it's like food in essence connects you to people.
mm-hmm,
And,
mm-hmm.
you know, unfortunately, things like discipline typically don't. People typically don't get discipline. Like that's not the average, I'd say. You're not going to have conversations with your family about how disciplined you are because they're probably
Yes.
not disciplined. So no one's going to talk to you about that. It needs to be your thing, though, and you need to have the willpower to step back
Mm,
and really hold on to, your goals and your vision.
mm-hmm. Yes. Totally agree with you. Yeah, discipline is not something that's 100% for sure. What what I keep going back is that I think during the holiday season there's a lot of things that can come up about emotional eating.
Yeah,
Whatever that is, and you've mentioned people using food as a crutch. I think that belongs to this category. We're
yeah,
not going into there because that's another topic. But I
right, right,
think if we enter the holiday season with balanced emotions, that's our baseline and setup for success to be able to go through the holiday season without overindulging, keeping our exercise, keeping the balance.
right.
And as you've mentioned, food is connection. It's different for each individual, but there's a lot of emotional stuff behind it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, so yeah, I would say that discipline is also about emotional discipline then
Right,
to
right.
be able to choose to make the right choices, which is possible. And I think it's a choice. Sometimes we say, no, why should I do that? It's Christmas. We can also say, I'm doing it because I understand the long term effects
Yeah,
and I am keeping disciplined because that is who I am.
right.
I think it's a choice.
Exactly. And it's good to keep in mind, like, it's not only who you are, but it's leading to who's better, the better version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you overindulge, that's going to lead to the lesser version of yourself because you're probably going to have all sorts of sicknesses and you're going to feel bad and it's probably going to damage your confidence because you see you have extra weight on your stomach and all sorts of things, all sorts of issues are going to arise from not having that discipline, right? And I know I keep using the word discipline, but I think discipline is basically having a perfect balance of all emotions in the mind. So it's like, I might be angry right now, but I'm not going to go out and eat. Or I might, it might be Christmas and I might be around family and things might be awkward and tense a little bit, but I'm not going to eat just
Mm-hmm.
to feel better. I'm going to stand by my principles and my character and my vision and my goals because that's me. This food isn't me. I think that's what we have to realize too. Like, you are not your food.
Yes.
You are not what you eat. They're your choices, and you need to make better choices. But if you choose to eat that donut or that cookie occasionally, that's fine because
Mm-hmm.
we all do it, and anybody
Mm-hmm.
who says they don't is probably lying just to flex or something. I mean, I myself eat a donut occasionally. Over the
Mm-hmm.
holidays I know I'm going to eat a good amount of stuff that I normally don't eat, and I have
Mm-hmm.
no shame in saying that, but I also realize that one is enough, or one plate of baked ziti is enough. I don't need to go back for thirds or fourths or fifths. I don't need to,
Mm-hmm.
like, stuff myself
Mm-hmm.
because discipline.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Yes, I think, yeah, 100%. I totally agree with you. I'm so glad that you've brought that up. Um, it's discipline is about the balance, and I like to say this. make the decisions from the future or that better version of you or in the present
Mhm.
moment, which
Right.
you've just explained. So, what the future version or better version of me would choose? Only one. Only one piece of it, or only one glass, or whatever it
Right.
is. That future version of me, the better version, upgraded version of me, would choose discipline and balance.
Right. Right.
So, again, keeping the goals, who we want to become,
Right.
and our vision in front of us
Exactly.
all the time, as much. Okay, there's no perfection here. As much as possible,
Right.
I
Right.
think it's that. I think it's beneficial.
Exactly. Exactly. And I like how you said that perfection is impossible. And I think a lot of us, especially
Mm,
when we first start, we have that mentality of like, I need to be perfect with all these things, and that's why we
mm,
fail. So, perfection
mm-hmm,
is actually setting us up for failure in the long run. So, just realize that, like, you're human, it's the holidays, you're going to
mm,
overeat a little bit, you're probably going to have, your sugar content for the day is probably going to be double what it should be or something, but have the discipline to cut it off at that and not make it like 5 times the daily intake or whatever. Just be mindful of what you're doing and have the discipline to say enough is enough when have had enough or when you think you've had enough.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, totally, totally. Yes, I agree with. I agree with you. Definitely not about perfectionism. Let's be
Yeah.
human. Let's be human
Right, right,
and optimize our function as a human being.
right.
Yes, yeah, yes, yeah. So you've mentioned discipline, be mindful, allow yourself to be a human being. What else would
Uh,
you keep the
so,
vision, keep the
yeah,
identity or
yeah,
your character, right? That's what we've discussed.
yeah, exactly, exactly. One last thing I think it's just important. We've kind of covered it already, but I just want to make it explicit that like it's very easy around the holidays to make up bullcrap excuses and just go
Mm-hmm.
off the path and just do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot do that. There's no excuses, and I say that a lot throughout the year to people. Like, no excuses. Stop making excuses. Just do it. But around the holidays, because I feel we're more susceptible to fall off our path and kind of overindulge and kind of do what everybody else is doing, you need to be extra vigilant. So,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely no excuses, no saying, well, he's doing it too, so I'm going to do it. Or, I kind of feel awkward around the family, so I'm going to hang out around the food table. Or, it's Christmas, it only happens one time a year, so, I'm just going to overeat and overdrink. No excuses.
No
Period.
excuse. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Like that. Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I agree with you. Yes. No excuses. Yes. Keep it up.
And
Mm.
also that no excuses isn't for like Beatrix or me or whatever coach you're working with or whoever. No excuses is for you because you're going to feel bad at the end of the day. Well, probably not the day, but you're going to feel bad later on. So you might not be able to see that right now, though. That's why we're saying this. So like we both
Mm-hmm.
know what it's like to overeat and be in these situations where we feel compelled to, but
Mm-hmm.
we also know what it's like to have the discipline and the willpower not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you can't understand why, like, oh, why are these people saying this? Trust me, we've been there, we've done that. I'm sure we both got horrible stomach aches from overeating. I know I've gotten a few of them and they suck. So trust us when we say
Mm.
stay on the path this holiday
Mm.
season. Don't do it for us or anyone else. Do it for you because your future self will thank you.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. So, no excuses with staying disciplined and balanced. No excuses, staying on the path. We're not talking about no excuses not to enjoy the holiday season
Right.
through whatever food we want, but no excuses in finding the balance and being disciplined and preventing yourself from that stomach pain or
Right.
feeling better about yourself.
Right.
Is that correct?
So yeah, no excuses to not do that stuff, right? So it's
Yes.
I mean, we should keep that stuff in mind.
Yes.
So don't just be like everybody else because it's the holidays, and it's very easy to do. Like, I definitely get that. I'm sure you definitely get that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it's very easy just to like be another face in the crowd over the holiday season, but it's just not the way to go, because you're going to suffer for it later on, as do everybody who goes through that. So even if they don't say it, trust me, that's what happens.
Yes, totally, 100%. Yes, that's what happens. And again, just sharing my example, there's so much power meant in saying no.
Yes.
You just feel good that food is not taking over me, but I am in charge. There's so much empowerment in that. There's so much energy in that. So I'd really would recommend to anyone who is listening just to try it, experiment with it, play with it, be curious how it makes you feel, and just try it and to see what happens. I definitely felt very empowered and light, and wow, this is really good. I made the right choice.
Right.
I made the right choice for that version of me, who I want to become, right?
Right.
Or who I want to be. That's just really powerful to stick to that and respect that person.
Yes.
So, yeah, 100%. Yeah, no excuses, stay disciplined, and at the same time enjoy, right?
First and foremost, like, go in expecting to enjoy. Like, if you go in expecting to be like rigid and disciplined, I think that's setting yourself up for failure too. Like, you should just go into the parties with an open mind, be happy, be merry around everybody. But when it comes down to like eating and stuff, that's when you need to be a little more disciplined. But definitely still have fun. I mean, obviously it's the holiday season. You're going to overindulge a little bit. You're going to, experience things that you don't normally experience. And you shouldn't cut yourself off from that. So, keep that in mind. Have fun. Enjoy the holiday season. But also, don't lose your vision.
Yes, that's brilliant. Yes, don't lose your vision. I love that. I think we can leave the audience with that. Don't lose your vision. Is there anything we should discuss, Ryan, or we missed out?
No,
What do you think?
I think we covered it all. I think as long as you guys keep that in mind, and you're going to have a great holiday season, and you're not going to feel like trash a week later.
Yes, exactly. Wonderful. Awesome. Thank you, Ryan.
All right, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Thanks very much. Yeah, great. I wish everyone a healthy, joyful, prosperous holiday season. Yeah, right. And just enjoy.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays. Yeah, take care. Bye.
Bye.